Travis Etienne of the Jacksonville Jaguars has been placed on IR, essentially ending his season. And he has a Lisfranc injury, which is something I have not heard of commonly, even among football players. And it's a foot injury. We heard about it a few days ago, and we were just waiting to hear. Some people thought he was just going to miss some time, but he's basically going to miss the entire year. Now, this sucks on multiple levels for people who already drafted ETN and keeper in dynasty leagues. I mean, at least you get to have him in the future, and it's not an Achilles injury or anything like that. But it still definitely sucks because you sacrificed huge draft capital to draft him. And I got hurt by this, by the way, in a dynasty league. I have him, and I believe I took him in the fifth or sixth round. So that's a big player that I'm passing on to get him. But it's also big news for James Robinson, who last year was a top 5 top 5 running back, depending on your scoring. And it begs the question, does he go right back into that spot that he was at last year, or is it a little bit more complicated than that? First off, Justin, how does it what about the Travis Etienne news? I know it sucks. And then where do you think, does this elevate James Robinson, and how high?
Yeah, it's sad news. Never fun to see an exciting rookie get banged up like that. It has its pros, it has its cons. If you already drafted and you draft Etienne, you had a bad day. If you have J-Rob, you had a good day. But his injury is a pretty freak injury, and it's going to take some time to recover. I'm pretty sure he has to have surgery and then go and boot and then a rehab session. So it's going to be the whole year, I think, for him, right?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, so
there's no way.
That's tough. So I love J-Rob regardless, and I love him even more now. So we haven't drafted yet, and I thought I was going to be able to get him earlier because I'm not a big believer in little quick running backs taking a lot of time over the main dogs. So I was hoping that I can sneak him in a round earlier, but that's not going to happen anymore. So it's just not good because we want every running back that we can get, but it does have a silver lining to it aside from an injury and all that. So J-Rob stock goes way high, and anyone who wanted to trade him is not wanting to trade him anymore.
Yeah, this is crazy. And this is why I love to have our running back rankings, or all of our rankings, handy in our spreadsheet, because I can reference this. We did our running back rankings video a few weeks ago. I did not have, and we only ranked our top 32 running backs. I did not have James Robinson ranked. You had him at 19 with the knowledge that Etienne was going to play. I mean, you have your spreadsheet. How far up are you willing to move James Robinson?
I put him in the ballpark of, I have JT at 11, Najee at 12, Demon at 13. He slides maybe above that or right in between. So he gets slotted up to fringe top 10, top 15.
Yeah, obviously I have to take Travis Etienne out, and I had him at 23. And if you look at my list, I have guys like, let's see here. I think, honestly, I can't go as far as 17 overall. So I would put him right above DeAndre Swift and right after Clyde Edwards-Helaire, to be honest. But still, going from unranked out of 32 up to 17 is huge. I was fading him too much because you always knew this was a possibility. Either that the rookie wasn't going to affect him that much in the first place, like you thought, but also that something could happen to this guy. And then honestly, both of these guys were premier handcuffs in a way, because if one happens, something happened to the other guy skyrockets immediately almost to an RB1. Now, honestly, I don't think James Robinson is going to repeat as a top 5 running back like last year, but I do think it's possible that he does finish as like a top 12 running back. I wouldn't rank him there, but I do think it's possible for sure.
Yeah, they just have more weapons than a new, fresh quarterback that they want to let sling everywhere. So he's going to have a lesser ceiling, but he's still going to be very valuable.
Absolutely. And I will tell people, look, when this stuff happens, even if everybody knows about it, it takes some time for the ADP to catch up, because what happens is a lot of people use whatever software they're using, whether it's like the Yahoo app or whatever, to the rankings on there and the ADPs on there dictate how people draft. It's just how it works because the picks are timed and people are in a rush and they're like, oh, I'm just going to take this guy. He's high up. It's going to take a while for James Robinson to climb up that ADP because you have to have drafts take place for his ADP to climb. So if you're drafting now or tomorrow or Monday, whatever, you're going to be able to get James Robinson a little bit cheaper than you are going to be in a week from now, or drafts that are happening right before the season. So if you're drafting right now, take advantage of that little bit of a discount until we start seeing him go in the second round, which I think is coming for drafts with this guy out. And it's crazy, man. Like our buddy Shane, the godfather of fantasy football to us, we're in a keeper league where you keep 6 players, and his 6 keepers are not that great, right? And he had to keep James Robinson because like it was his only option. And it's funny because he has Darrell Henderson and James Robinson as 2 of his keepers. And with the Cam Akers injury, and then obviously with the Travis Etienne injury, suddenly he has 2 starting running backs, and it's pretty crazy. But yes, so that's going to do it for the James Robinson, Travis Etienne talk. We definitely think it raises Robinson significantly. So keep that in mind. But yeah.